Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and to my subscribers, thank you so very much for subscribing. And for those that are yet to subscribe, please click on the subscription button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for doing that. In today's video, I'll be showing how to make 3 different sleeves, and the first one we are going to make is this. So after cutting my normal basic sleeve, I'm going to open it up like this. Then I'm just going to roll the center like this. Yeah, just roll it down. Then the next thing is to mark the midpoint of the sleeve. I'm just going to mark it like that. Then I'm going to connect. So the next thing is to cut from that center line, cut it all the way to that point. So the next thing is to cut it from that point. Yeah, just cut it through to the edge. You must not go past 0.2 inch at least. Then do the same to the other side. So I'm going to place another color of pattern paper underneath so that it won't be confusing and you can see it properly. So from the upper part of the sleeve, from that place, I'm just going to measure 1.5 inches. You can measure 2 inches or whatever you feel like using. So from that point, I'm going to mark 4 inches, and I'm going to mark 4 inches on the other side too, like that. And please take note, this is not a standard measurement. So the 4 inches is just the distance between the first arrow indication and the other arrow indication on your screen. Please take note of that. So the next thing is to cut it. So I'm supposed to stop on that 4 inches point, but for easy access to the sleeve, I'm just going to cut it down. I'm going to extend the cut a bit. So starting from that 4 inches point, I'm going to divide that part into 3 like that, and I'm going to divide the other part into 3 too. So I'm just going to cut through. So after slashing, then I'm just going to spread it. I'm going to spread it like that, and the spacing I'll be using is 1 centimeter. So I'm just going to hold it down with sellotape. I'm going to spread the other one too. I'm going to measure 1 centimeter for the spacing and hold it down with a sellotape. So on the midpoint of the sleeve, like that's the center of the sleeve. I'm going to measure 1 centimeter. I'm going to slant it like that, then I'm going to connect. Then I'm going to do the same to the other side. Then I'm going to cut it out. So then don't forget, I added 1 centimeter to that point, and that point, like that. So 1 centimeter in 4 places, that's 4 centimeter, and the other side is 1 centimeter in 4 places, that's another 4 centimeter. That means in total I have 8 centimeters. So I'm going to spread that part here. I'm going to use 8 centimeters for the spacing. So I'm going to hold it down with the sellotape. So I'm just going to connect it like so. I'm going to connect it like that. And I'm going to mark the midpoint, yeah, like that. So after that, I'm going to add 1 centimeter, yeah, I'm going to add it like that. Then I'm going to blend it into that 4 inches point I measured earlier. So from that 4 inches point, I'm going to stick the part. Yeah, I'm going to stick it back using my sellotape. Remember, I said I cut it through because I wanted to have an easy access to that part. So that is it for this sleeve. I'm just going to stick it together to show you how it's going to look before I cut it out on a fabric. So I'm just going to cut it out like so, and I'm going to add allowance to that part here, and I'm going to add allowance to that part too. Then I'm just going to cut the rest. Then I'm just going to place it together like this. Then I'm going to sew that part. Take it to your sewing machine and sew. So after that, I'm going to match up the center. I'm going to pin it down and just pin it around like that. Then take it to your sewing machine and sew. So that's all. If you feel that 1.5 inches is a little bit small, you can add any inches you want. You can use 2 inches, you can use 2.5 inches. So moving on to the second sleeve, I'm going to cut out a perfect square whereby I have 41 inches on one side and 41 inches on the other side. Just make sure it is a perfect square. And that 41 inches is what I will be folding for this tutorial. It is not a standard measurement. So I'm going to fold it over like that in a triangular form. Then I'm going to use this self-healing mat to rule a straight line. You have to achieve a straight line. It is very important. So just measure around your hand where the sleeve is going to stop. So I'm going to measure mine and add 1 inch sewing allowance. So on that point, I'm just going to rule a straight line. So from that line, I'm just going to measure my sleeve length and I'm going to mark it and connect. So the next thing is to mark a normal basic sleeve. I have a video showing how to do that, so I'm not going to say much on this. Mark your round sleeve divided by 2 and add your sewing allowance. For this tutorial, I added 1 inch sewing allowance. Then just connect. So starting from the sleeve line, I'm going to mark 14.5 inches. So you can mark lesser than that and you can add to that. It depends on how full you want the pleat on the sleeve to be. So from that 14.5 inches line, I'm just going to mark 2 inches like that. Then I'm just going to shape it. Yeah, shape it to that point. Just shape it the way we normally shape sleeve, like you're shaping a sleeve. That's how you are going to shape it. So I'm just going to curve it like that, yeah, to that point. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, just pay attention to what I'm doing so that you can understand the more. So the next thing is to cut it out. Just cut it out like that. So from that point, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches like that. And from that point also, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches. I'm going to mark 1 inch, 2.5 inches, then 1 inch again, 2.5 inches again, then 1 inch, then another 2.5 inches, another 1 inch, 2.5 inches, 1 inch, then 2.5 inches, and the rest is going to be 1 inch. So I'm going to mark it like that and I'm going to notch it. I'm going to notch those points. So take that 2.5 inches point, connect it together, and the other side, take the 2.5 inches point and connect it together. So you are going to pin the 2.5 inches together and skip the 1 inch. Skip the 1 inch, then from that 1 inch, take the 2.5 inches and pin it together again. on both sides, and again skip the 1 inch, yes, and pin the 2.5 inches together again on both sides. So you can keep pleating like that, just pleat it like that. It depends on what you want. You can skip the pleat, you can make it fuller or bigger. So to demonstrate what I'm saying, I'm going to skip that part. Yeah, I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to pin it on that 1 inch like that. Yeah, 1 inch I marked. So it's just as simple as that. So just stitch the pleats, just top stitch the pleats on both sides like that, and that's all for this sleeve. So onto the next sleeve, which is this. I'm going to take a normal basic sleeve pattern, and I'm going to rule the center like this. So the next thing is to mark where the pleat is going to stop. Yeah, that arrow indication, just check it out. So I'm going to mark it on the pattern like this, and I'm going to connect. So I'm going to divide that line into 8. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification button to get notified whenever I post a new video. And also like and share. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to connect it like that. Then I'm going to cut that part like that. So I'm just going to place it like that, and use a sellotape to hold it down. So the next thing is to slash those lines. I'm going to slash it like this. You're not going to cut through, just slash it and stop towards the end. So then I'm going to rule a center line. I'm just going to extend that line upward like that. So after that, I'm going to take the upper part of the sleeve like that, and from the center I'm going to use the sellotape to hold it down. Then after holding it down, I'm going to spread it. I'm going to start from the center, and I'm going to spread it like so. I'm going to measure 5.5 centimeters for the distance. Yeah, The distance is going to be 5.5 centimeters. So you can just use whatever you like. The more you spread, the bigger your sleeve, so take note of that. So I'm just going to be spreading 5.5 centimeters like that. So from that center line, I'm also going to measure 5.5 centimeters to spread the other side. So I'm just going to keep spreading like that. And if you notice both sides are not equal, that's because my center line is not straight. Please don't make the same mistake. So I'm just going to connect it like this. Yeah, just connect it all around like this. Then I'm just going to cut it out. So I'm just going to use my needle and thread to pleat it so that you guys can see the outcome. So to achieve a much more bigger puff, just extend that, just move it a bit. Yeah, just move it a bit, and the spacing, increase the spacing. So with that, your sleeve is going to be bigger and puffy. So this is for those that don't understand the lace parts of the shirt video I made, and I hope this is going to help. Yeah, the lace length is 4 inches. So if you want a longer lace, you can just extend the length. And the dart is just 1 inch above the underbust. Again, the lace length is 4 inches and the dart is just 1 inch above the underbust. Yeah, 1 inch above the underbust. And also the bandage starts from the under bust, and the length of the bandage is 4 inches. So the next thing is to determine the wideness of the bandage. So I'm going to cut that upper part on fold. So I'm just going to rule a straight line. So my measurement is going to start from that line. Take note of that. So you're just going to divide your nipple to nipple into 2. Like my nipple to nipple is 7.5. 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So I'm going to take out 3.75 on my tape rule. I'm going to place 3.75 on that line, that straight line I marked. So I'm going to mark my waist. My waist is 28 inches. So 28 inches divided by 4 is 7 inches. So I'm going to mark 7 inches like so. So after marking 7 inches, I'm going to deduct 0.75 from that 7 inches. You can deduct ½ inch, whatever you like. Just make sure you deduct something. When you tighten the back and the front lace together on the side, your waist becomes smaller and the lace should not be overlapping on the side. So that is why it is important to deduct something. So I'm just going to measure what I have. I have 2.5 inches. So I'm going to connect it like so. And I'm going to trim off that part so that it won't be confusing. So I'm not going to add allowance to that part because it is on fold, so there is no need for allowance. So I'm going to measure the length of the bandage, that's the length of the lace. So I'm going to add ½ inch allowance to the lower part. So I'm going to add ½ inch allowance on both sides like this. That is 1 inch. I'm going to mark 1 inch allowance to that and I'm going to connect it. Then I'm going to cut it out. So I'm going to mark out the ½ inch allowance I added to that part and the ½ inch allowance I added to that part also. I'm going to connect it. Those are the parts I'm going to sew on. Yeah, like that. So the other part is the dart area. So there's no need to sew that part. It's going to enter the dart. It's going to go in between the dart. So after sewing, I'm going to turn it out through that dart part. It's just like that. You're just going to put it in between the dart and sew. So you're going to place it in between the darts like that. Then you're just going to sew on the ½ inch allowance you added. So if I measure from that point, from that first bandage to the other bandage, I should have my waist measurement minus 0.75 on both sides. Someone asked why I added 4 inches allowance to the waist on the main fabric, not the bandage. That 4 inches allowance is not a standard measurement, so you can add whatever you like, but you need to add enough allowance so that by the time you tighten the bandage, you will have enough fold on the waist. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.